Hey, welcome back. So I need to get the bumper on to be able to figure out the lengths for the wires for the marker lights. So that's where we're at. I wanted to start on the sensors on the engine and found out I had some shortages on some of my raw terminals. So waiting on a shipment to come in with a bunch of terminals for the right gauge sizes. So here we are. Anyway, I'm going to move forward and we're going to do the front lights and get all that spaghetti done. So here we go. If I didn't already say, this is Hutch from Hutch High Perf. So I'm going to get these bad boys on so I can mount the bumper up. We're just going to get these things loosely in place. These are, oh, the name escapes me. Basically they're collapsible standoffs for the bumper. It's these, what do they call them? 15 mile an hour, 5 mile an hour bumpers. So these things would, there's a gas, not a gas, it's there's a liquid inside here like an oil. So if you have an impact, these things are made to collapse and they collapse back. One accident use. All right, let's get this around. This thing in place. Oh, wait, let me make sure this is right where it should be. And you know what, for this, honestly, it doesn't matter. Close enough is what I'm looking for. Alignment, well, that's later. Right now, just want to get these things mounted so I have an idea where I need to run my electrical wiring for these marker lights. There we go. So that once I get this on, oh, I got to get this bumper up. That's going to be fun. All right. All right, let's see if I can get this thing up here. Well, it's like being at the gym, right? And just curl and wait. Let's get a couple at the top here started. This thing won't fly off. All right, and we'll just zap these down enough to hold it in place so it doesn't rock around on me. Don't even think the bottom ones are necessary. All right, that's good enough. So now it is on to figuring out my wiring for this. There's a bunch of stuff that needs to get done. All right, on to cutting and splicing and splicing and cutting. Before I get on to the marker lights, I want to finish this up. So this was the end of the connector. This is the part of the starter harness, and I've got to fit other guy in. So I have spliced my lines in. So now it's just a matter of getting these pushed in and clicked. Nice. And this one. Good. Then we'll put on our retainer. Okay, that's in place. This clips in. I have, I'll get that out of there. So I've drilled a hole right here in the side of the plastic cover. That is where that is going to go. And all of these come with a small locking pin that goes in here. It keeps the connector from popping apart. So doing this, it gave me a bit of an idea. So I went through all the wiring and I figured out where everything needs to go. And I'm thinking what I'm going to do is the same thing with this, same thing with the low and high beams. I'm going to use a connector and connect it somewhere back here behind the battery. And then not only will the high and low beams be on its own small harness, but I'm going to do the same thing with the marker and turn lights too. That way, just if I got to, once I tear all this apart and take everything back off and blow it apart, because I got to do sanding and painting and all this other stuff, it won't be as hard a process of pulling those big, even though I made room for it, pulling those big fat light housings, the connectors out. So I can just unplug it here and then just pull it out, and it'll be all small connectors, and that'll make things a lot easier. So yeah, I think I want to do that. I almost forgot about the one wire. So this is the 46 amp connector that's down on the side here, and it has the 3 wires that go down to the starter. Purple wire is your starter wire, and then you've got 2 power wires that went to the fusible link. So they run back. The one wire goes straight back to the C100. The second one does as well, but it also butts up with the power wire that goes across to the other side of the car and over to your AC relay. So I've got that butt up right here. So this is the wire coming from the starter. It's connected here in the butt connector to the wire that goes to C100, and then this wire is going to traverse over to the other side of the car. So I got that crimped together, and now all I need to do is get this heat shrink melted on, and then we'll be on to the marker and turn lights, I promise. So this is what I'm talking about. So this is the part of the harness. I just had to trace everything down. And actually, it's quite simple. But the way the factory put it together, some of the splices in between, let's find one of them, like these splices here. There's wires crisscrossed inside and out of them because it didn't matter. So literally, unless you cut the splice apart, you can't like untangle it all the way. So it just looks like a big mess of spaghetti. So I've made this schematic real quick just to kind of get it in my head what I want to do. So you've got brown, light blue, and dark blue. And the only complicated one really is brown. So brown comes up and there's a splice here and it splits and it goes to the marker and turn on the driver's side and then travels over and goes to the marker and turn on the passenger side. Light blue just comes straight up and splice here and it goes to the marker and turn on the driver's side. And then the dark blue comes up and just does the same thing over on the passenger side. So what I'm going to do is right here, just before, like past the battery and into the area in between the radiator core support and the bumper area. I'm just going to put a connector in there, connect these 3 wires, and then do it all like that. Harness needs to come out, clip, let's pull it there. That goes with the wiring harness, and all this up here can stay with the car. It just makes it a lot easier. So actually, these are the replacements. So I'm going to tap into these. I'm not going to try to take them apart. I just don't want to fiddle with all that. And they're brand new, so there's no reason to. What I like about this is they got 2 out of the 3 wires right. So black wire is correct. That's your ground. Brown wire, that's in the middle. That's where it's supposed to go. And this one out here is the only one that needs to be changed. This needs to be light blue, not dark blue. So we'll put this up in here. How does that go? Goes in one way. Like that. Okay, so connectors in, do the other side, and then it's on to turn signals. Just enough room. These buggers are right down in here. Again, same thing. Brown wire is already on there. This just needs to change the light blue. So that's not too bad either. Let's get that thing in there. Well, they give you a whole lot of room for that, don't they? All right, that's in place. That should be a good spot right there. It'll give me some room to be able to throw these crimps on. All right, that's the female side. So we're just going to pop these in. And I think we'll put brown in the center. Let's click in there. And then dark blue that goes over the other side on the outside. And snap that down. Okay, so now if I ever need to, well, actually I'm going to need to, because when I take this harness apart, which I'm going to have to do to get the fenders and everything off in order to do the rest of the body work and other stuff that needs to be done, I can just unplug it right here, and then everything that goes on the front header will just stay with the lights, and I can just unplug everything, and that just makes it so much easier. Yeah, so I got plugs all over the place, but it's all about trying to work a little smarter, not harder. All right, so now we just do the same thing for the male side. More crimps, and let's see. Let me put this in here so I make sure I get my wires together right. So let's see. That's light blue. That goes in first. Yeah. And then the others will be easy. Brown in the middle. And then blue. Dark blue. Snap her down. Connect her up. There it is. Now, let's get underneath the car, start doing butt connections and stripping wire. So from underneath, let's see, this is dark blue. That goes to the other side. That can go over here. So now we're just messing with light blue and brown. And like I said, these connectors already came with the brown wire on it. So all I've got to do is replace the blue. So let me do a little bit of figuring where I want to cut this at and do my butt connect. All right, so I cut my wire just, I don't know, a little bit past the connector. This will be good for the butt connector. So on the other side, just got to decide how much of this light blue to run. So the yellow is now light blue. So if I kind of cut that close to the connector, I can put heat shrink on it and cover up most of that yellow. and it'll just look like factory wire. Let's see if that is, if I mount that there, then that'll come around and probably like right there. Okay, so if let's give it a little extra room too, just to be safe. All right, cut that there. Now I can take this bad boy, trim her down in the bottom here somewhere, and then replace it with my factory wire color. All right, just throw a crimp down on this bad boy. Now I'll swing it around, do the other side, I think. These tiny ones, I worry about the grip on them. There we go. Good and tight. All right. Put a little heat shrink over the center of this. So now we got the marker, we've got the turn. Don't tell anybody, it used to be yellow wires. And looks like factory, sorta, but once you get the liner on it, you'll never know. So now we got to put them back in where they go. And come on, get in there. This thing is only keyed to go in one way. What way is that? I don't know. Because I'm on the other side of the bumper. I can't see. Oh, is that it? There. All right. You can join that one there. Okay, so if I all right. So now this makes it so much easier because now I can pop off the connector since this stuff is joined together. Get up in here. This little guy turn. Come on, get up. So now I can take this and I can go sit down somewhere, cut this, butt it up, and then I can put it back on, and then that way I can get this wire, get everything just the way I want it. All right, more cutting, more butt connecting. All right. Got all of this buttoned up on this side anyway. All right, how does that look? Yeah, I like that. Okay, so now got the dark blue and the brown. I've got to run all the way over to the other side and then just do this all over again. Joy. But you know what? Honestly, it wasn't all too bad. I'm not going to complain too much. Yeah. All right. Well, on the other side. Well, like always, got ahead of myself. So this bottom marker has your ground wire. This is where the ground feeds, and it just wasn't quite long enough. So I put an end on it where I wanted it, and then now I'm just going to seal this baby up right here. You know what? Do I need that long of a piece? No, maybe not. It's already on. Not going to worry about it. Just make sure it's in the middle. That looks in the middle. That's not in the middle. just looking at this, and I don't think I need this this big fat liner now, just because there's not that much going over to the other side. Got the 12 gauge power wire, marker and turn signal, and then the harness that I made for the headlights. And I think I can fit that into something smaller than this. So I'm gonna grab the scissors here, see if I can't just, well, let's make sure there's nothing inside. Yeah, there's nothing there. So I'm gonna just cut this bad boy right here. All right, save some of that for something else. And then I will use something a little smaller to run it over to the other side. Yeah, I was able to shrink it down to this 3/4 conduit. This is, I think, going to work out a little bit better. Wiring. It's fun when it works. It's not fun when you got to make it work. So I'm slipping, I don't see this or not. So I'm slipping my harness that I made for the headlights inside this conduit. So I think it just makes for a cleaner install. Less harness you see, the better. Almost there. Just a little bit more here. So now we're on the other side, and my two wires over here, the brown and dark blue, are going to dump out here for the marker and turn, and harness comes out over here for the headlights harness. So all this conduit now, this size is too big because it just got the one red wire. So I'm going to bring it out over here. I think I'm going to cut it right here. All right, and then that I can save because it's just going to be this power wire that comes up through here. All this up in here. Yeah, let me go find something small for that. There we go. This is some 1/4 inch. This is going to work perfect for this. Okay, so how to explain this? This is the power wire. Comes from the driver's side from C100, and it's butt connected into the fusible link that goes down in the starter, and then it comes over here. And what it does is, this is the factory harness. So the old harness, this was actually draped over the engine somewhere, as you can see. A good idea because it started to melt the housing. These things are notorious for burning up the power wire. And I don't know if it's just that these connectors weren't rated high enough for that. But anyway, so this power wire here, let's bring it down here and we'll look at this schematic. So here's the schematic here. So you have your heater and AC control assembly. If you ask for any of the low speeds, they come through your blower resistor, and then that feeds down through the relay, your AC relay, and then down to the blower motor. And it limits the voltage to the blower motor, and that's what changes the different speeds. So that power wire that I'm talking about, when you get over here and you request high, it sends the current out this way. It hits the other side of this AC blower relay, kicks the relay on, throws this switch over to the other side, and you get, well, whatever the alternator's putting out. Hopefully you're in 13 or 14 volt range. So you're getting that, you might get a little loss going from one side to the other, but you're getting roughly as much power as you can that's going to route itself to the blower. That's your high speed. So that is what we're doing. All right, so as I said, this connector is where your power feed is from. There's a ground in here, and then the light green is a compressor control wire, and then the ground for it. So this would feed that AC blower relay, and it would also feed the power to the compressor. So let's go, while we're here, let's go to the schematic and look at the compressor controls. So here we have our compressor control circuit, fuse block down to your control assembly. That's where you turn it on max AC, and then it sends power right down to the compressor. Seems pretty simple, right? I mean, it's right. That's how it should be. Fuse block's like, hey, buddy, here's your power. Use it when you need it. And you're like, thanks, man. I'm hot. Let me turn the AC on. Comes down here. When you get to the other side of the page, ECM is like, hold on a second, fella. I'll tell you when you can turn the AC on. I'm in control here. See, because the power comes down, it branches off and pigtails over here to the fast idle solenoid. These cars were dogs, so whenever the compressor was cut on, this would just bump the idle up enough that it wouldn't stall the whole car out, I guess. So anyway, so now you've got this extra relay. You've got the blower relay, and now you've got an AC compressor control relay. So power comes down, goes over your fast idle solenoid. It comes down here and goes to both sides of the relay. So that same power is on both sides. So then it also kicks and comes over here, and that's when it goes down to Big Brother. Big Brother looks at it, and based on are you at full throttle, whatever your other sensors that are going to affect this may tell it, it's going to decide whether it's going to give the ground to turn your AC on. So if it goes, all right, you're hot, I'll let you turn the AC on. Boom, this kicks over to ground, which sends the ground signal here. That energizes this side of the relay. This side, boom, pops over, and then now the power can continue down to your AC compressor. And then, as a backup, it comes down here to your pressure cycling switch. So this is a pressure switch. This is actually what should be controlling your AC. Because if you have low pressure, then it's not going to be able to move the compressor oil that's in the entire system around, and you're going to burn your compressor up. So this is what should be in charge, but no, that gets final say on everything. It's stupid, I think. Well, it's neither here nor there because I'm taking the ECM out, so that guy's gone. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to jump all of that, and then the light green wire, when it comes out of the harness up in the corner, I'm just going to send it straight to the compressor. And then on the ground side, that'll go back through the harness, and then it'll end up with this cycling switch, and then that will decide whether your AC can turn on or off, because that is how it should work. That's what's important, right? If you've ever been low on Freon, you'll know that it does its job. It cuts the AC off. It won't let you turn it on. And then once you charge the system up properly, boom, you're back in action. But this guy is out. So that's what we're dealing with. Ignore that, different VIN number. Anyway, I've just got to basically strip all of this old conduit off and get down to the wires and figure out what I need to do as far as running everything. So that is what's next. So back on it, I think spend a little time here just stripping all the tape. Oh, this stuff is all jacked on here. See if I can get through this without nicking a wire. That would be good. Oh, good. Yeah, there we go. Come on. There. Well, there we go. All right, we'll just throw it on the floor then. Okay, same thing with this. Can I just unspiral this? It's going to work for me. This stuff is horrible. Stop using electrical tape on your wires. Ugh. This stuff is nasty. Okay, let's pop that off. That's an old relay. We're not using that again. I think we'll try to save this connector. I like this. Might be able to use this, clean it up, and just put it right back on when we get ready. Okay. Same thing here. It'll end. Trash. Trash. What is this? Is this a splice? It looks like it's a little more carefully wrapped. Let's see what's in there. If it's a main splice, I'm not replacing the wires on this side. I'm just cleaning them up. It's almost like a black duct tape. Yeah, that's exactly what that is. That's a splice for all these grounds, I imagine. Yeah. Okay. That looks to be in really good shape. So we'll just rewrap that and then get on about business. Trash. Okay. Let me grab my phone. I want to take pics because I want to. All these connectors are like expensive to buy, so I think what I'm going to do is just going to de-pin them, clean them, and then I think these are all like brass style terminals. So I think the terminals I have are better than this. So I think I'm going to go through and just replace all these terminals, put them back together, and then that'll go back on. All right, well, let me get my phone so I can take some pics of where all these lines go into. Got the schematic so I could look it all up, but why do all that when I can just refer to a picture? Okay, that's staying where it is. That, let me put that back. Just slide that up in there so there's no mistake. Let's see. Yep. Same thing. Let me see if I can straighten these wires out a bit so I can see where they go. That's better. Flip it around. I guess the same thing with this. All right, everything else I think is staying. Okay, and then this guy is going away. I'm using the same connector that's over on the other side that I ran down to the starter. I'm going to use one of those 46 amperes over here. That's going to be a lot better than this thing. 4 Seasons 35911. Let's go ahead and get this bad boy out. This is a new blower relay. So I wanted to get this thing in place before I de-pin everything because I want to see if the wires need to be shortened because the factory just, factory makes this stuff so you can slap it on and it's easy. I'm making it so it looks good. So a little bit of a difference in there between what they want and what I want. So take my quarter nut driver here and get this guy on, and then we'll throw these plugs up in place. Yeah. All right, that's where that guy goes. All right, so I can't hook that up because that's not on the car yet, but I can put this stuff in. So here, how do I want to do this? Yeah. I'm trying to separate these things out so I know what's where. All right, so this is power connector. That goes there. This is the ground. Can I slip that under there with that? Okay, that's those two. This guy, where'd you go? Come here. Trying to keep this from becoming spaghetti. All right, that would go under there with these. Put you back in here for the time being, just real quick. All right, that would be under here. All right, connect there. And then this guy. Right, there's the old one. Yeah. All right, and that snaps in there. So these, that goes to the front. This is going to tuck down in here. This is going to run up, plug in over here. Yeah, something like that. That ought to work. I don't think think once I get the harness on there and get that kind of wrapped, put together, I think that'll work. So I'm not worried too much about that. Okay, now I can start depinning these two connectors. I'm happy with that. All right, let's get to work. Mm-hmm. Get out of the way. There we go. That little guy gets washed. And let's get on to the big boy over here. Same thing. Yeah, I thought I was going to have to really get in there and scrub this, because I think when I did the firewall, when I painted it, everything, I think I got overspray all over this because there's this black splatter everywhere, and I'm pretty sure that is from that underhood black that I sprayed the firewall with. So it's my own fault. I was worried stuff was not going to come off, but it's coming right off of here with a little bit of elbow grease. Making a mess of my rag here, but it is coming off. move my little tub around here. A little bit of warm water and some soap. I think I'm just going to scrub everything. Now I just went in and exchanged it for some warm, clean water. Get these rinsed, blown off with the air gun, and I'll be ready to go. Okay, I know when I should stop doing something. So I put together the first 2 wires, and it's the same stuff you've seen before. You strip the wire, you crimp the connector on, you put it back in. But these connectors, the 12 gauge went in no problem, but the 14 gauge, I don't know what it is. I'm having an issue getting a good crimp, and it's almost like I can't remember who I got these from, but where I got them from, it's almost like it's like some type of in between on the tangs, and it's not just it's not getting a good crimp. I had to mess around with it a lot to be able to get the thing down to where I was happy. And these are good, but I'm not going through all of this trying to fight every single one of them, and then you mess up, and the wire just keeps getting shorter and shorter and shorter. So I know when to call it quits. So I think what I'm going to do, this 12 gauge red wire, I've got all that spool red wire that came across from the other side of the car. Like I said, for whatever reason, the crimp on the 12 gauge works completely fine. So the run of 12 gauge red wire that came across the front of the car and over here, I am going to replace that. So this entire thing and the connector, all of that is gone. So don't worry about that right now. But I think what I'm going to do is I've got a little wire wheel on a Dremel, and I'm just going to clean these up. They're really, honestly, not that bad. I could have just gotten by with taking everything apart, cleaning up the plastic connectors, and just putting it back together and then calling it a day, and I would have been fine. So I think that's what I'm going to do. So what I'm going to do is just polish these up, get any crud off of them, and give them a good look. Make sure there's nothing that needs to be replaced. If it needs to be replaced, then that's exactly what I'm going to do. But I'm not going to fight all these just to put new connectors on if these are fine, and have to fight those in the process too. So yeah, let me just polish these up. So there it is. If all these polish up like this, that's going to be completely fine. So I think that's what I'm going to do, and then I'm going to put this bad boy back together and call that done. So now just make sure I open my tangs back up and they don't break. Please don't break. All right, now I just got to snap them back in. So with my phone as reference, all I got to do is use that to see what line goes where. Okay, so that is this guy here. Good. And then red, okay, I'm going to replace the red one. That's back there, that's fine. And this guy goes down here. Okay. Yeah, blue, black, orange, pink, purple, sorry. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so that's blue, black, orange, and purple in where they're supposed to be. Red goes out here on the end. I'm going to have to do that when I make the connector up. And then we come around to the other end. Let me pull this around here. let's swipe back, see what that one looks like. All right, that's the orientation in the picture. So then we have brown. Make sure that's going in correct. Good. And light blue. Yes. And then tan. Where's my tan wire? Here it is. And then tan goes right here. Very good. All right. Well, I know I definitely need a run of Tesa tape on this ground splice. Much better. Much better than that goopy, nasty stuff that was on there before. So on the front of the AC housing was this clip, and you can see like this side, it almost has like a gold anodized coating on it. So the whole thing was, I guess, that gold color, whatever that is. And other side was like the top side was just exposed to the elements the whole time, and it was just like this ugly brown. So I just sanded it down, and I kept sanding and polishing until I got it to look just like that same kind of chrome look that is on our blower relay. So I'm gonna put this down here, just like so, and then I'm gonna grab some conduit right here and slip our wires into the conduit and kind of see what we got, what it looks like. That's about, where was that? Is it about there? Was it? I'm not sure if that was there. I might have my, yeah, but that's the bolt for it. Really? Because how are you supposed to open it like that? That doesn't make sense. That can't go there. Now I gotta go look at pictures. Well, that was right, but I don't like it. So I don't think I'm going to do that there. Spend all that time polishing that, and I'm not even going to use it. Maybe I'll think of something, but I don't want the wire loom hanging up in the so close out in the open like that, because it's run across the top. I want something a little cleaner. Have you met me? I'm particular. So let me get this stuff in here. Get this wire loom around this and fed down, and then I'll think about that later, about where I want it. I want the install to look neat. come this far. Just want to make sure everything is presentable. Okay, so that has to come out. Well, let's get this stuff plugged in place, and I can figure out the rest of the loom from there. All right, so this would... come here. So that's in there. That snaps in there. It's my ground. Let's bring it under that. Ground snaps in here. Come on. Then that power wire. Where are you at? There. I'll come up with that. Is that right in the middle? And that plugs in there. Okay. So that transitions right there. So we can loom that up right at that point there. This is some 1/2-inch loom. That should be good for right here. Just a little tiny piece of it, I think. And then we'll figure out how to bring this stuff together in a minute here. Let's just get this, come on, get in there. About that much. Yeah, that might do it. All right, let's get this. I'm just making a big old mess. That's fine. All right, so this is kind of what I'm trying to get at. I want to try to hide these wires, even when they go on top like this, just try to subdue it as much as I can. This is a perfect spot to use one of these three-way connectors. I tried to clean this up. It's just scuffed really bad. I might be able to try to polish it so it looks better. If not, these things are dirt cheap, so I might just go online and buy some of these the three-way connect outlet things. But that'll be perfect for right there, and the line can run on either side, and then you got this line run up here, and it would just, everything would hold in place just perfect. So I kind of like that. I forgot about that one power wire. Let me get that thing put together. Perfect. Now it's just a matter of fishing the line in, lining it up. Nice crimp. All right, now that's in place. Let me reposition the camera and pull back so you can kind of get an overview of what I'm trying to do here. All right, let's get this guy out of the way. Okay, so what we're doing, this is your power plug. This is it's the main signal that comes from inside the car when you turn the AC on, and this is the plug. Normally it would just be over here and it would just be draped over top of the engine, so it could just burn up or do any one of a number of different things. So we're not going to do that because I've got the power wire coming from the front of the car in through one of the headlight openings, and there's an opening right here behind the fender, and then there's an opening back here where you can access, I think it's one of the bolts for the antenna. Yeah, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to feed the red wire and then the ground and then the green wire, which comes from the AC. So the power wire and then these two are going to be fed inside the fender and then out here where the connector will be. And yeah, that's going to help, I think, quite a bit, just hiding that. So now you don't have something draping along this way. Don't have it wires draping across the front of the car. Everything is, the engine's nice and clean. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do. So basically now I've just got to, what do I got to do? I've got to take this jumble of mess. All right, I got to take this jumble of mess and I've got to do a little 3-wire harness and run it back from there all the way out to this side. And then you can start doing the big 46 amp connector out on this side. Well, that'll be good. All right, so we can kiss this guy goodbye and say hello to the new. How do we, let's use some of this conduit here. This will be better because I can just run it right down through the center. Okay. We'll fix how exactly that goes together. That'll go right in behind this inner fender well. Let me get my wires out the other side here. All right. Those are out there. So that goes in there, drapes behind that. That can come right down here. That's where I'll put my connector. Just down in here and you won't even see it. Okay, where are my scissors? All right, so we cut that off. Let's say right about there. Stay out of the way. There you go. Oh, got stuff everywhere. Making a mess. All right. So that, I think that's plenty of room. Let's keep it out here just so I can put this connector together. All right, let me grab the connector. All right, so 12 gauge, got that crimped. Got the weatherproof seal on the end. That's fine. It's made for it. This the connector that I'm using, this thing 46 amp connector. It's a MetraPAK, and it's built for 3 12 gauge wires. Well, I've got different gauges here. I think this is 14 or is it 16? I don't know. So I cut off more off the end and I doubled it back on itself, and that should be enough to get the crimp, but the weather thing is loose on here. So I'm going to try something. I'm going to take some heat shrink and shrink it onto the end, and then I'm going to see if this will slide over that, and if not, I'll have to cut it back off. But that might fill the void and then make this wire casing a little thicker, and then that'll make it able for that to slip over it and actually hold it and be weatherproof like what it's supposed to be. that almost worked. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take another piece and heat shrink right over top of that one. All right. Oh, I didn't think about it. I hope that doesn't interfere with this thing snapping in. It shouldn't. Let's see how that did. Oh, yeah, nice and tight. That's good. Okay, so that's snug now. That'll work. Oh, I should probably let this thing cool down a little bit before I start trying to move that thing up on it. Woo, it's still warm. All right, before I go on to that last one, let me just make sure that this thing is actually going to clip in here and not give me any issues. Ah, beautiful. And it's sealed. Let's put the other one in. We got one to go. Oh, that goes the other way, doesn't it? Ah. Oh, I love that positive snap. A nice connector. All right, one more to go. Same procedure. I'll have to fold this back and then use heat shrink over it to kind of make up that space. But now that we got that going, that's pretty easy to do. All right, seem to be working out well. I like that. One last one. Beauty. All right, so there is that side of the connector. It's late and I'm tired. Well, like and subscribe. You know what to do. Tell your friends, tell your mom. I don't care. Tell somebody. Anyway, I think that's going to be it for this one. I got the one side of the connector hooked up, so everything left will be all the sensors that go on the engine. So I think I'll just do that all in one last push, and then I'll be done. I'm even getting tired of doing this wire and harness. It needed to be done. I'm glad I did it, but wow, it's just a lot. It's just tedious work, and it's hard doing a video, making it interesting for everybody when it's just the same stuff over and over. Anyway, that's all I got. This is Hutch from Hutch High Perf. Take care of yourself, guys.